Welcome back to another Explainer. Today, we're diving into something completely fascinating. It's the incredible tension between the romantic magic of historic football upsets and the cold, hard, data-driven science of tournament operations research. If you follow European football, you know the pure joy of watching a massive underdog completely topple a giant. But what if the very structure of the tournament was actually deciding a team's fate before they ever even stepped onto the pitch? Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our agenda for today. We're going to start with the magic of upsets. Then we'll look at outcome versus draw uncertainty, followed by measuring the luck of the draw. After that, we'll break down the Champions League reform, and finally, fixing the beautiful game. Section 1. The magic of upsets. The romance of football chaos. To really understand why sports scientists are so obsessed with fixing tournament structures, we first have to celebrate why we actually love the sport to begin with. We love it because of the inherent chaos on the pitch. I'm talking about those moments that just completely defy logic, statistics, and all expectations. Take October 2009. Pep Guardiola's defending champion Barcelona side suffered a truly shocking 2-1 Champions League defeat at home to the Russian side, Rubin Kazan. The statistics for this match were absolutely staggering. Barca had 24 shots on goal. Rubin Kazan had exactly 3. And yet, Rubin won. As Guardiola pragmatically pointed out, with the statistics that we had, in any other sport we would have won, but not in football. It's delightfully unpredictable, and on any given Tuesday night, the math simply doesn't matter. And this brilliantly illustrates that exact magic. Just look at AS Monaco's absolutely miraculous run to the Champions League final in the 2003-2004 season, under manager Didier Deschamps and powered by the speed of Ludovic Giuli and the finishing of Fernando Morientes. Monaco literally took Europe by storm. In March, they edged past Lokomotiv Moscow. Then, in April, they mounted a stunning comeback against a star-studded Real Madrid side, advancing on away goals after a crazy 5-5 aggregate tie. By May, they had actually eliminated Chelsea 5-3 on aggregate to reach the final. It was a giant killing spree that literally no one saw coming. Or consider the international stage. Remember Denmark's fairy tale run at Euro 1992? Amazingly, Denmark didn't even qualify for the tournament initially. They were drafted late, coming right off the couch to replace Yugoslavia. Yet they went on this unbelievable run. Goalkeeper Peter Schmeichel saved a crucial penalty against the legendary Marco van Basten in the semi-final against the Netherlands, and then Denmark went on to defeat the reigning world champions Germany 2-0 in the final. It is the ultimate proof that on any given day, anyone can win the whole shebang. Section 2. Outcome versus draw uncertainty. 2 types of luck. So this brings us to our core argument. Because while we, the fans, absolutely adore that chaotic luck we just talked about, operations researchers and tournament organizers view luck through a much colder lens. We actually have to clearly separate 2 very different types of luck. First, there's outcome uncertainty. This is the unpredictability on the pitch. It's what gave us Monaco's miracle run and Denmark's fairy tale. It's thrilling, it's earned, and it's vital to the sport. But then we have draw uncertainty. This is unpredictability that stems strictly from the organizer's draw. This is the bad luck where a team's fate, whether they advance or go home, is largely sealed simply by the names pulled from a glass bowl. So what exactly is draw uncertainty? Well, the formal definition calls it an exogenous element of chance, unrelated to athletic performance, entirely caused by the tournament organizer's grouping structure. So the crucial point is that while we want outcome uncertainty to be super high, because we want thrilling, unpredictable games, the mathematically optimal level for draw uncertainty is actually 0, absolutely 0. No team should be handed an unfair advantage or a massive disadvantage purely because of the random grouping of the tournament stage. It's a structural unfairness that engineers have literally spent years trying to solve. Section 3. Measuring the luck of the draw. Simulating fairness. Shifting our perspective from nostalgic sports history to dense, data-driven analytics leads us directly to a huge question. How do we actually measure the luck of the draw? It seems totally abstract, right? But a recent operations research paper published on Archive sought to quantify this exact problem in the context of the UEFA Champions League. The researchers wanted to mathematically prove if the draw was unfairly determining winners and losers before a ball was even kicked. To do this, the researchers used a really complex but brilliant methodology. First, they used algorithms, specifically something called integer programming, to generate millions of valid random draws, making sure to respect all the convoluted UEFA rules, like keeping teams from the same country apart. Second, they simulated the match outcomes using a statistical model called a Poisson distribution, which is based on team strength. Third, and most importantly, they measured the variance of qualifying probabilities for the round of 16. Simply put, they looked at the standard deviation. If your team's chances of advancing swing wildly depending on who you draw, meaning you could get a super easy path or a brutally hard group, then the draw uncertainty is high, and the tournament structure is mathematically unfair. Now, what's really interesting about this is the root cause of that unfairness. The researchers identified that draw uncertainty totally explodes when the seeding system is flawed. So UEFA's official club coefficients, which dictate the seeding pots, are static and frankly historically inaccurate. The system often places teams in the wrong seeding pots based on past glory rather than current form. On the flip side, football club ELO ratings are unofficial but highly dynamic. They update after every single match and are highly predictive of actual team strength. Because UEFA uses an inaccurate static seeding system, a traditional group stage relies way too heavily on luck, routinely punishing really good teams with impossible groups. Section 4. The Champions League Reform. Changing the math. Now, this isn't just an academic exercise. This exact problem forced a real-world, practical solution to fix structural unfairness at the absolute highest level of European football. For 2 decades, the Champions League used the classic format: 32 teams divided into 8 groups of 4, playing a double round-robin of 6 matches. But in the 2024-2025 season, UEFA implemented a monumental format change. They shifted to 36 teams playing in a single, incomplete round-robin league phase, where every team plays 8 matches. This complete shift away from the traditional 30-team group stage was specifically engineered to change the math of the tournament. Let's break down the mechanics of this new incomplete round-robin league phase. Instead of being trapped in a group of 4 and playing the same teams twice, teams now play 8 completely different opponents. Crucially, they draw 2 opponents from each of the 4 seeding pots, including their own pot. All 36 teams are then ranked in one giant league table. The top 8 teams qualify directly for the round of 16, while the teams ranked 9th through 24th enter a brand new knockout playoff. By forcing every single team to play a cross-section of opponents from all 4 strength tiers, UEFA drastically changed the underlying math of qualification. Section 5. Fixing the beautiful game. The data-driven conclusion. Let's move to the data and see how this builds out. Did this massive structural overhaul actually solve the problem? Well, the operations research simulations reveal a pretty stark conclusion. The old group stage produced remarkably high draw uncertainty. A team's fate was tied entirely too close to their initial draw. But the new incomplete round-robin league phase, it massively reduces that uncertainty. By expanding the sample size of games and diversifying the opponent's strength, the new format inherently corrects for the luck of the draw. And this is the absolute key takeaway from the hours of study. The new format is highly robust against inaccurate seeding. So why does this matter to us? Well, it means that even if UEFA's official coefficient rankings mistakenly put phenomenally strong team into a lower pot, the structural math of the incomplete round-robin protects everyone else in the league. It practically eliminates the concept of the group of death. Teams are no longer severely punished for simply having the terrible luck of being drawn into an unfairly stacked pot of 4. 0. As we touched on earlier, 0 is the mathematical ideal for draw uncertainty. You want 0 exogenous luck determining the outcome of a sporting event. And while no drawn tournament can ever perfectly reach absolute 0, the data proves that this new Champions League format gets European football closer to absolute structural fairness than ever before. It effectively engineers the bad luck out of the boardroom. But that leaves us with one final, pretty provocative thought to consider. We started this explainer by celebrating the chaos, the unpredictable upsets, and the sheer joy that in football, the math shouldn't always add up. So has data science and operations research finally perfected the beautiful game? Or do we, as fans, actually need a little bit of structural unfairness to keep the romance and the magic alive? Think about it. Thanks for learning with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.